Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai.
Yesterday when we took the word Surat, right involvement, Rat means to be involved. Nath, that which is in control. So involvement, that which is in control. When we are involved, we are excited, so it is not in control. So, He Surat Nath. Te asur ka dasika. हमें तमारी बिना मूलनी दासी छे. We are your unpaid maid servants. शरद उदाशय, शरद कालना जलाशयમાં, તે વખતના જલાશયમાં, within the pond of autumn pond, સાધુ જાત સત, સુંદરથી સુંદર, finest and most perfect, beautiful of the most beautiful, સરસિજ જ ઉદર, સરસિજનો ફૂલનો હૃદય, ઉદર, કમલનું હૃદય, wall of the lotus where the seeds are formed. श्री मुषाद्रशा, सौंदर्य को चुराने वाली आंखों से, the eyes that steal beauty, the eyes that steal Shri from the cavity of the wall of the perfectly formed lotus. Such eyes you have. Till here we had gone yesterday. Varad Nignataha. With those eyes which steal beauty, te aankhoti, જેનાથી શ્રીની તું ચોરી કરે છે, તે આંખથી તે અમને નિગ્નત, વરદ નિગ્નત, તે અમને ઘાયલ કરી દીધા છે. You have pierced our hearts. You are killing us. Na aha kim vadaha. Is this not murder? Su vad nathi. So we were here, Varada Dignata. Right observation kills. The Sudarshan Chakra kills. So, if there is right observation within us, when we go into observation, we will have to divide ourselves into two parts. That which observes and that which is being observed. That which observes is I, and that which is being observed is it. So, at present I say I am hungry. But then when we start the process of inner observation, we will say, it is hungry and I am watching. I am angry, I am upset, it is upset. And I am watching. I only know how to watch. And when I am watching and it is angry, that anger cannot hypnotize the eye. The eye is separate from the anger. That anger cannot be expressed. That anger cannot last. In the very light of observation, that anger will go away. This separation we have to make within ourselves. And this is not an easy separation. It takes years of work. Once we start getting flashes of it during the day, where we have divided ourselves between I and it. Again we say, oh, I'm very upset, I'm very sad today. Again the I has become identified by it. The I and the it have become one. It is not I saying it is sad, it is upset. So self-observation is a long process. But without that going through that process, there is no shortcut. We cannot just step into the divine. It is that I which separates itself from life that is the divine already. So, right observation kills. It kills jealousy. It kills anger. So, the gopis are saying, with those eyes of yours, those eyes which have the chakra of Sudarshan, they have the right observation, those eyes of yours which can steal the beauty, steal Shri, the essence of life, from even the most perfectly formed lotus. Sarasijna udarmathi, je Shri ni chori kare, evi tari aankh. Those eyes, they are killing us. The gopis are going to become nothing. Every disciple has to become nothing. It is only when Arjun realized his nothingness that Shri Krishna started the Gita. Till then they were all arguments only. But at one point he realized. He asked him, what is Shreya from me? Tell me, what is Shreya for me? I am willing, I am your disciple. I bow down to you. What is Shreya? Till then he was arguing. But the gopis are saying, your eyes have killed us. They have killed everything that is lower. The gopis understood in 19 slokas. For Arjun to understand, it took 18 chapters. I think 765 slokas. So they're saying we have been killed. Every guru kills the disciple. He's only in one thing, interested in one thing, beheading the disciple. Nothing should be left. So they are saying, we were your unpaid maid servants. हमें તમાरी અશુલ્ક દાસિકા હતી અને તે અમને વરદાનમાં શું આપ્યું? તે અમને વરદાનમાં તો મૃત્યુ આપ્યું. We were your unpaid servants and you Varad, what did you bestow upon us? What did you gift us? What did you give to us? You gave us death. But death is the highest love. So, from the last sloka, in the last sloka, the gopis were saying, we are collecting moments of consciousness, vichinvate, tvam vichinvate, we are looking for you. The literal meaning is looking for you, but vichinna to chinvu, collect small moments of consciousness, and in those small moments of consciousness, we've had some glimpse, but in that, your eyes have killed us. This glimpse, the Vaishnavas call it as jhaki. You go to a Vaishnav temple, you are only allowed to see so much of the murti, then it is covered up. It's not like this, the murti is open all the time. Only so much, you get a glimpse. And on that glimpse you have to do darshan. It's called jhaki. The first moment of consciousness. The first glimpse of freedom. The Taoists call it as satori. Of course, now there is a whiskey called satori. I don't know what it does. But the Taoists call it as satori. The first glimpse of that freedom. Varada nignatah te humne ghayal kari dida. એ ઘાયલ કરી દીધા એમાં એક ઝાંખી અમને તમારી મળી ગઈ. Now this word varad we can also put it somewhere else also. So we start it with He Suratnath. So we can say He Varad Suratnath. We don't have to take it over here also. Ghayal Karidra we can take alone, Nignataha. We can say, Hey Varad Suratnath as an adjective of Suratnath. So that would be that Suratnath that fulfills our desires. The one who fulfills our desires. Je apni manorath puri kare. Je vardhan ape. Vardhan apwa vado Suratnath. Hey Krishna, tu vardhan apwa vado છે. Hey Varad Suratnath, it comes from the root vru, to choose. I choose you. What do we choose in life? What do we choose in life? We keep on choosing, but we don't choose te. We don't choose Suratnath. We choose everything else. The Rishi says, Tat Savitur Varenyam. In the three worlds, only one thing is worth choosing. One thing is worth Varenyam. હારમાળા પહેરાવા જેવું આ ત્રણેય લોકમાં એક જ વસ્તુ છે અને એ છે સવિતા. તેની સવિતા શક્તિ. તત્ સવિતુર વરેણ્યમ. We choose everything. We choose money. We choose possessions. We'll give a garland to a politician if he comes in our town. But that's Savita Shakti. We don't choose that. We don't even have the eyes to see it. We have to clear our eyes. We have to make those eyes which can steal from the wall of a lotus, from the heart of a lotus. In every moment of life, what do we choose? Can we separate the higher from the lower? And in this moment, I want to choose only the higher. Varada Nignata. And in this choosing of the higher, Nignata, killing of the ego, Ghayal of the ego. Every time I choose the higher, the ego will die. Varada Nignata. Varad choosing, Nignata killing. In every moment. It's very difficult. It's very painful. If I take revenge, I am choosing the lower. But to forsake the revenge, to sacrifice the revenge, then I am choosing the higher. And in that sacrifice, in the revenge, the ego will be wounded. It will be hurt in that sacrifice. But each moment in life, to be able to choose. Nignata, Eha. They're not just saying Nignata, they're saying Nignata Eha, in this place. In this place. Here. In any other place it would be killing. But this is the land of Vraja. The first sloka is Jayati te adhikam janmana Vraja. This is the land of Vraja. And in this land of Vraja, it is called killing of the ego. Na aha kim vadaha. Is this what you are doing? With your eyes you have killed us. Isn't this murder? Isn't this vada? Now they are talking about this avatar of Krishna. This whole avatar of Krishna was one vad after another. One asura after another. There's a beautiful story that one warrior called Barbaric was coming to fight the Mahabharata war. And Krishna knew he was coming to fight the war. And my hands, So Krishna goes to meet him on the way. And he tells him that, whom are you going to fight for? So he says, I have a pratigya, that I only fight for the side which is going to lose. And in this case, Duryodhana is going to lose. And so I will be fighting for Duryodhana. So Krishna tells him that if you are going to fight for Duryodhana, I cannot allow Duryodhana to win the war. I will have to kill you here. So he says, you kill me here. Now he was actually Arjun's son. So he says, you kill me here. I would like to die at your hands. It will be a great gift if I can die at your hands. Vada. But I have one request, that you keep my head on a pole in such a way that I can see the whole war. Then I will die after the war. But you can kill me now so that I do not fight for Duryodhana. And if he had fought for Duryodhana, Krishna knew the war would have been won by Duryodhana. He was such a great warrior. Nobody would have been able to defeat him. So Krishna beheads him with his chakra. He kills him. And he stays on the pole to watch the war. And after the war, Krishna takes the Pandavas and says that we have to pay homage to someone. And they come and they see this head over there. And they talk to him. And Arjun still has this little bit of pride in him, that I killed so many warriors in the war. And his son tells him that don't think you killed so many warriors. I didn't see a single of your arrows killing any of the warriors. I only saw Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra killing everyone. So the gopis are telling Krishna that this avatar which you have taken is only for the purpose of killing. So why don't you kill us also? So they are saying, this Leela of yours, this Krishna Leela of yours is the Leela of Vada. Na aha kim vada. Na aha kim vada. Is this not killing? That you have wounded us with your eyes? You have killed our ego. Drashyatam tujo. The final, Drashyatam tujo. But he is not there. Still that barrier is there. He is not there to see. We take today's Shloka. Hey Rishabh, Visajala apyayat. Rishabh, one who has risen above sexual passion. Purush Shiromani, Rishabh, the highest amongst men. So, hey Rishabh, Visajala apyayat, where poison and water mix. Where poison and water mix. You have saved us. Yamuna no pani thi jare Kaliya naag na vish thi bharayi. Te bhai no nash kare. And you saved us from that. Vyala Rakshasa. Vyala Rakshasa. Vyal Rupa Rakshas. An asur came in the form of a python. From him you saved us. Now, just see the continuity of the slok. In the last slok, they are saying, you are killing us. And in this slok, they are saying, you saved us from so many things. Varsha Maruta, right? Varsha, from Indra's Varsha and Indra's Vijli, Vidyut, you saved us. Maruta, Trunavat Sur, Trunavat Asur, Indrana Varsad, Dhodmar Varsad, and Ayu Rupma Trunavat. Vaidyut Anala, that is again with Indra. Vijlina Agni, this is a very deep meaning, not just lightning, but the fire which is born of lightning. The fire which is born of lightning. Vrusha Maya Atmaja, Vrushasu, or we can say Arishtasu. Vrusha again means sexual passion. Arishtasur and Maya Danav's son. Maya Danav's son. Vyomasu, the one who came in the form of a cowherd, took the shape of a gopa, in form of a gopa and came. From all this you have saved us. Vishvato Bhaya. You have saved us from danger in all directions. Badi bajuethi te hamaro Vishvato Bhaya Raksha kari chhe. That fear which is with us all the time. Patanjali calls it as Abhinivesh, the final creation. Chare bajuthi te hamari Raksha kari chhe. You have saved us from all sides. Muhu. Not once but many times. Muhu, varamvar, muhu. Rakshita, rakshya, vayam, amari. In the days before Christianity actually became a big force around the 4th century AD. Between the 1st and 4th century in Rome, there were many other religions. But the wave of Christianity was so powerful that all these other religions just got washed away. One of them was the religion called Mitra. Mitra comes from the word Mitra, friendship. It was a religion born in Persia, and they have found remains in Rome, and the bull of Mitra is very famous. And one of the bulls of Mitra is in the London Museum. Vrushab, hey Vrushab, they are calling Krishna, hey Vrushab, the one who has killed the bull. And in this piece of sculpture, which is lying in the London Museum, it's a beautiful piece. This Mitra, the Mitra, God who has come in the form of friendship, and the highest is friendship. That is why just when he was going to die, Buddha changed his form and he called himself Maitri. He said, I am just a friend, I am not a guru. Till then, it was very different. It was Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, I bow down to the Guru. Sangham Sharanam Gacchami, I bow down to the group, the Sangha. We'll go into this. Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. There are 3 lines of work which we must do. Work on self, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. Work for others, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. And work for the work, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. The most difficult is work for the work. We'll go into that in one of these days. So Buddha, in the end, he renounced the Sangha and he took on the name Maitreya. I am just a friend. I met Tawariya Sahib in 1988. And the first thing I told him that, sir, you're my guru. So when he said that I am not a guru, I'm just a friend. So then I said, if you're a friend, that doesn't stop me from being a disciple. But he always came off as a friend. There was absolutely no gap between him and us. I remember there was one old man in our group who's still living, he must be about 95 or so right now. And he's a management guru, he writes articles on management and management from the Vedas, very famous, and he's written more than 25-30 books. Dr. Atre, his name is. And Dr. Atre, when he left his school, his father sent him to stay for 3 months with Raman Maharishi. So when he was just in his SSC, just passed his SSC, he spent 3 months with Raman Maharishi in his ashram. Then he spent time with Arvind in Pondicherry. So Another great teacher of our time, Vimla ji. I don't know if you've heard of her, Vimla Thakur. And I had the great fortune to spend 4 years with her. So, after Tauriya ji had left the body, she asked me to bring a group of Tauriya ji's people. She would like to speak to them. So, we had gathered there. And she asked Dr. Atre that you stayed with Raman Maharishi. You met Arvind. What did you see in Tauriya ji that you did not see in them? So, he said that when I was with Raman, Raman was there and I was here. When I was with Arvind, Arvind was there and I was here. When I was with Tauriya ji, he was here and I was here also. There was just no difference. So this religion was called the religion of Mitra. Mitra. And Mitra is depicted as a warrior. And in this statue, this piece of sculpture, he's slaying the bull. He's rising above sexual passion. The Kundalini Shakti is rising and reaching the Bindu, the top chakra. And in that sculpture there is a scorpion. And that scorpion is trying to take a part of the kill because blood is coming out and flesh is coming out. The scorpion wants his share. And the warrior has risen above the bull. And by getting over sexual passion, you have conquered jealousy also. There is a dog, and the dog is sniffing around. By getting over sexual passion, you have gotten over snackiness, irritation, anger. The dog snaps all the time. And there is a snake. By rising above sexual passion, you have risen above temptation. By just doing this one thing, you have risen above all that is lower in life. So they are telling Krishna, hey Rishabh, hey Rishabh. They are calling him the one who has,
I'd like you to define just what in your view is friendship compared to what we know friendship is. I'd just like to know how would you define friendship in those days to what friendship we know and experience these days.
Would you tell your husband everything or would you tell your friend everything? Friend. Two presences which are totally equal. That is friendship. I can't remember the exact Sanskrit, but it comes from Saha. There's a word for presence which I can't remember just now, but two presences which are there together. Now, the soul is equal to the Atma. The soul is, but it's got bogged down in the mud of sanskar. It's got bogged down in the mud of sanskar. So, the final friendship is between the soul and the Atma, the spirit and the soul. When they are both equal, now the soul is just on the verge of moving into the spirit. Both are the purity of both is equal. Of course, the purity of the Atma, the spirit never changes. It is always and always. It is the purity of the soul which has come out of the spirit that gets covered by the soot, by the dust of sanskar. And it is the journey of the soul to get rid of this dust. And in Sanskrit, the real meaning of mitrata is that when the soul has cleaned itself and is equal to the Atma, that relationship is called as friendship. Somehow I just can't remember the exact Sanskrit. Maybe I'll bring it tomorrow. So, that relationship, જીવ અને આત્મા વચ્ચેનો સંબંધ. પણ જ્યારે જીવ ટોટલી શુદ્ધ થઈ ગયો છે, આ બધી સંસ્કારોની ધૂળમાંથી મુક્ત થઈ ગયો છે, And that is why Buddha said friendship. Friendship is the highest relationship. So he's saying, hey, they are saying, hey Rishabh. Now remember each connotation which the gopis are using. In the first one they used, hey Daita. In the second they said, hey Suratanath. In the third they are saying, hey Rishabh, the one who has risen. The one who is full of power. A bull is full of power. Transformed power. Not aggressive power. Visajala apyaya. Yamuna la pani ma vish aniyo. Poison. Poison came into the water of the Yamuna. Vishayo, objects. Vishayo. When we look at objects, we cannot see the poison in them. Vish. We see that it is something which we want to possess. We feel that we will gain something by possessing. So, objects of the senses, we don't see the poison that in this very act of possessing that object, we are taking poison. The waters of our emotions are being poisoned by likes and dislikes. So water represents the emotional center. Vish represents the objects of the senses, the five senses. And in the senses there is a kind of craving, what we call in Gujarati as lolupta. There's a kind of craving. The senses want more. They're asking for more. And it is this craving which poisons our emotions. So Visajala, Jal is the emotional attachment. Each moment can we discriminate what is food for the soul and what is food for the ego. Can we discriminate? આવો આપણે વિવેક આવી શકે કે આમ કરવાથી મારો અહમ મજબૂત થશે ને આમ કરવાથી મારો જીવ મજબૂત થશે. Which line of action will we choose? So we always mix the waters with poison, and if the waters are pure, the soul is free. It is these impure waters which are binding the soul. And we use all kinds of excuses that our needs still have to be fulfilled. I need it. Then divide our life. Divide our life into needs, comforts, luxuries. And try to stick to two, needs and comforts, and get rid of luxuries. Because too much of our attention is attached in those luxuries. And it is this attention, unless we send it inside, the soul will never be free. So if we can just divide our life into these three, needs and comforts, good. We are not saying that live like a hermit in the Himalayas. Of course, somebody today had put his photo on the Facebook. He was there in the Himalayas meditating with Levi's jeans and goggles and all that. Good way to meditate. So, this desire to indulge more and more into sensory temptation. And it is poison. It kills the senses. It kills the senses. The whole journey of spirituality is to awaken the senses, to make the senses more and more powerful, to awaken the inner senses, to make the energy of sensitivity more and more powerful. But science is now coming to a state where we will not need the senses at all. We won't have to use them. We'll have an instrument to see, an instrument to hear. Slowly, science is going to bring the five senses into a state of inertia. And if there is no desire to use the eyes, even with good eyes will be blind. There must be this Ichha Shakti, his Ichha Shakti, this desire which moves out as attention to see. But slowly science is developing instruments. Make man's life as luxurious as possible. So you must make a dividing line between luxury and comforts. Our whole lower psychic nature is born out of nothing but this inner desire for fulfillment of materialistic needs. Whether materialistic, I'm taking relationship also. So we keep on abusing the senses. And when people phone and they say, yes, I went to a party last night. What time did you go to sleep? 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing today? I'm going for another party. Abusing the senses. Once one of the guys was telling me, I want to take you once to one of these parties, these rap parties. I said, what time? So he says that the real fun starts after 3 o'clock in the morning. So I said, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you please pick me up at that time. We abuse the senses in our pursuit for happiness. And we are looking in the wrong place. This is poison. We are poisoning the senses. And every sense, through hearing, we want more appreciation, more praise. We want to hear more sweet words. There's a constant desire in the ears. Through smell, this lust for food, the smell, it ignites the lust for food. Enjoy it. But try to divide the line between enjoyment and indulgence. If we can just divide that line. Life is to enjoy. Enjoy each moment. Enjoy the good things in life. It's not to run away, but just the dividing line. And up to here is enjoyment, beyond this is indulgence. Touch, the desire for physical comfort, the desire for sexual indulgence from touch. Eyes, the desire to possess, the desire to have. All these senses, these 5 senses, they have this inner craving to get more and more. To be free of this craving and still enjoy life. I'm not saying run away. Don't have to become a Swami or leave anything. But if it is done in moderation, we are in the middle of the pendulum, and in the middle of the pendulum we climb to the top. From this side or that side we can't climb. So, now the gopis are saying that when we were in this state, when our senses were craving, you saved us, you showed us the path to be free. When the waters of the Yamuna were being poisoned by the snake, by the Nag, his name was Kaliya. Darkness, Kaliya. Temptation. He has 5 hoods representing the 5 senses. And it is this snake which Krishna tames. And he does not tame it just like that. He dances on his hood. He's saying that don't throw away temptation completely. Make temptation into the dance of life. Enjoy life. Desire is his energy. Enjoy the desires of life. But don't fall into indulgence. He dances on his hood. So one day, Krishna goes with the gopas, the cowbirds, to the Yamuna. Balram does not go with them. He goes with the gopas. It's a very hot day, and they are talking and laughing and playing. And some cows wander towards the Yamuna. some boys go to drink the water, but they had come near a lake which was formed out of the Yamuna. एक तलाव હતું જે યમુનાના પાણીમાંથી બનેલું હતું. And the name of that તળાવ was Madhu. Mad. Intoxication. Mad. Intoxication. Say today I don't have any money and tomorrow I get a lot of money. Will the way I walk change? Change. I'll be intoxicated. If tomorrow I win an election, I'll be intoxicated. This intoxication, mad. The ego has 6 friends. 6 friends. Actually, there's nothing like ego. The ego is a vacuum, emptiness. But that emptiness expresses itself in 6 different ways. This is in the old language. In the old language. So they say the 6 ways the ego expresses itself. So anytime there is an expression of the ego, there will be one of these 6, or all of them, or 2 or 3 of them. So the expression of the ego is one of 6. The seeds which the ego plants for repetition is called klesha. Try to understand this difference. So we've gone into klesha many times, so I'm not repeating it. The seed which it plants is klesha for repetition. And in that repetition, the expression, the form seen is one of 6. Out of which the most powerful is mother. Mother. Most powerful. The lowest is Lobha, born in the Mooladhara chakra. It is born out of the Mooladhara chakra contains the element Prithvi, the earth element, and the earth attracts, gravitation. So attraction is a natural law, attraction and repulsion. But when I am attracted, it becomes greed, it becomes lobha. So, can we separate this? Attraction, repulsion are 2 poles of life. They have to happen. Some things attract, some things repulse. And there's a cause behind it. We are going to go into the cause. The second is in the Swadhisthana chakra, Kama, desire. So, the third in the Manipur chakra, Krodha. The fourth in the Anahat chakra, Moha. In Swadhisthana chakra there is Jal Tattva, the water element, calm, born out of emotions, desire. Moha, Krodha, born out of fire. In Manipur there is fire, born out of fire, Krodha, Agni. The art is in the Swadhisthana is lower than the Manipura. Right? The Taoists, they exchange this. They have a way of exchanging this. Taoist yoga. Taoist yoga has a beautiful book, The Secret of the Golden Flower. It's a beautiful book. Small booklet from which the whole of Taoist yoga was born. And in that, they say the fire of the Manipura, they take it down into the Swadhisthana and they bring the water of the Swadhisthana up. They exchange it. Because if the water is down, the water will flow out. Our emotions will flow out into negative emotions. I'll become angry on you, the water has flown out. But if the water is up, then I'll use that anger to heat the water and the lower emotion will go into higher emotion. Exchange the fire for the water. And this is the whole basis of Taoist yoga. And this beautiful book, there's a beautiful story behind that book. The Secret of the Golden Flower. One of the greatest books in the world is Tao Te Ching, written by Lao Tse, said to have been written by Lao Tse. And Lao Tse was a Chinese sage, Tao. And he lived to a very old age, 160 years old. And it's beautiful. Here today we are calling Krishna as Hey Rishabh. And when he was leaving, he said at 160, I might as well now go into the Himalayas and take Samadhi. I don't want to live any longer. So he sat on a bull, not a bull but a water buffalo. Tao, the water course-way. Tao, he used to call it the water course-way. That Tao, which nothing can stop that Tao. There are no obstacles in life. Water finds its way. In everything, water finds its way. There's no reaction. Water finds its way. He used to call Tao the water course-way. It's soft like water. It can take any shape. It can take any form. If you are angry with me, it can take a form in which the water moves on. There is no conflict. There is no contradiction in life. So he was going on this water buffalo, and at the border of China, the guard stopped him. And the guard was a great yogi. He must have been. Because he put him in jail for 3 days and he said, you write something. You've not written your whole life. And unless you write something, I won't let you go. And he wrote this beautiful book, Tao Te Ching. That Tao, the eternal Tao, which is the eternal Tao, and the King which changes all the time. Eternal Tao. And the very first sentence in the Tao Te Ching is that Tao which is eternal, the Tao which is eternal can never be said. And if it is said, it is no longer the Tao. The truth can never be said. And the moment it is said, it is no longer the truth. And still it has to be said. This is how it is. So, he was there at the border and he wrote this book. And that guard then wrote a book called The Secret of the Golden Flower. Unfortunately, around the 6th century AD, Buddhism came into China. And there was a wave of Buddhism and a lot of ancient Chinese texts were rewritten in the light of Buddhism. And when we read this book up to the 3rd or 4th chapter, it is pure Taoism. And then suddenly this onslaught of Buddhism has changed the book. But still it is a beautiful book to read.
So the exercise okay?
Correct.
160.
Yes, somebody asked Lao Tse that how did you live to be 160 years old? And the whole movement of Taoism is in moving the breath through different parts of the body. So he said, I learned a way of sending the breath in the stomach, not in the lungs. So the juices of the stomach, they digested something from the breath, which the lungs could not, and those vitamins made me live till 160 years old. So in this 6th exercise, we take it. Breath. The breath dissolves in the saliva, and when we swallow the saliva, the breath goes to the stomach. So we'll be meeting for another 100 years. So they are saying that the Gopas, they went with Krishna to the Yamuna. It was a hot day, and some went near this lake called Madhu. I'll just finish that. Mooladhar Lobh, Swadhishthan Kam, Manipur Krodh Agni, Moha, Vayu in Anahat, and in Vishuddhi, Matsa, jealousy. And that which attacks all the 5 chakras is the 6th one, Mad, intoxication. Now, a person in who Mad is very prevalent, who is very egoistic, he has two characteristics. One, he is a very good critic of others. Very good critic of others. The second, if somebody makes him a big boss, then he'll do anything for that person. You have to bow down to him. You have to bow down to him. Right? Usually in the ashram, the one who has to manage the admission center, where new people coming in, where to put them, and sometimes there are camps and there's only place for 200-300 people, and then more than 500 people come, everybody shouting for space and this and that. So then we need a person with a little bit of So in the Mahabharata, the warrior who represents Mad is Shailya. Shailya means a spear. A spear. And Shailya was Nakul and Sahadev's mama. He was coming to fight the war on the part of the Pandavas. But Duryodhana met him in the way, and Duryodhana treated him very well. Looked after him very well. He made him a big brother. He gave water to his ego, gave food to his ego. And so he came to Yudhishthir and he said that Duryodhana has treated me so well, I am going to fight on the side of the Kauravas. And Yudhishthir said, okay, you can fight, but when Karna comes to fight Arjun, Duryodhana will ask you to be his charioteer. And you bring Karna's morale down by stinging him with harsh words. He was a very good critic. So Yudhishthir knew the other side of this. He said, okay, this side Duryodhana has taken, give me this side. And when he becomes Karna's charioteer, he keeps on throwing words at Karna, which brings Karna's passion down. So there is this lake called Mother, and there was a snake called Kaliya who had poisoned this lake, and the water was frothing with fumes. There were waves and fumes and froth of poison in the lake. Birds which used to fly over the lake would drop down dead. These gopas and the cows which went to drink water from the lake, they all fell down in a deep swoon. After some time they saw that some boys were missing. So Krishna and the other gopas, they went to look for them. They saw the footmarks and they saw that they were all lying there, half dead. And the water of Yamuna and Mother, this lake called Mother, had come together, and the waters of the Yamuna had become black with poison. The boys started crying. All the trees around the lake were dead. There was one kadam tree which was alive. It was not fully dead. And that was because in the old days, when Garud was taking the kalash of Amrut, he had stopped to rest on that tree for some time. And maybe that pot of Amrut had touched that tree. So even though the lake was full of poison, all the other trees were dead. This one tree could not kill.
That's right. This obviously is symbolic. This is symbolic.
Very symbolic. Very, very symbolic.
You can explain to us.
Yeah, if I start explaining all this, that is why I'm just taking some points.
The snake and the poison and all that, you know.
That is why I explained it in the beginning. I took the 5 senses and the poison of. I just gave you an outline that this is what it's about. Gopa. Go is the senses. Pa is that Shakti which protects the senses. Now these gopas are found in a swoon there. That means the poison has now overpowered the senses completely, and that is the poison of Vishay. Vishay means objects. Now you need consciousness to dive into this and to free us from it. Kaliya had been staying here for years. Krishna climbed up onto the Kadam tree, and every place his feet touched, new leaves started springing out. He dived into the lake and he started swimming and making big waves. For years nobody had disturbed the lake. So Kaliya was right at the bottom of the lake. He started wondering who is disturbing the waters of the lake. And his peace was ruffled, his calm was ruffled. He was wondering what upheaval is going on the surface. See, by changing things on the surface, nothing changes. The cause has to change. Many people, they tell me that I want to get rid of anger. You can't get rid of anger. However many classes of getting rid of anger you go to, you can't get rid of anger. The cause has to change. The cause has to be transformed. Maybe next year or sometime in the future we can take certain laws, the law of 3 tamas, rajas and sattva, and the law, how it works in a musical scale called the law of octaves. And when we take these different laws, we will see how different laws are operating in our body-brain system. And they make fine products, but those fine products are wasted. Anger is the finest product we are making at present. We can make finer stuff, but we waste it. We waste it because we don't have the capacity to hold it. We don't have the capacity to hold it. That holding power. The fuse goes and we have to throw it out on someone. And by throwing out, we are only creating waves on the top of the lake. The anger is not going. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to throw out a little. In every marriage, the wife needs to throw out a little on the husband. It's needed. It's needed for the health of the marriage. She's at home the whole day. Mother-in-law, this, that, everything. Right? So many things are happening and she has to suppress so much. So every husband, if he becomes a, that wall practice wall, tennis racket, hit the wall. Just for 10-15 minutes, take a walk with the wife and allow the wife to say anything. No reaction. Just allow the wife to say whatever she wants to say. Your mother is like this, your brother is like this, your friends are like this. No reaction. She doesn't mean it, but it's all, inside. Then that's ruffling the waters. So some poison is thrown out, but that cannot get rid of the cause. The cause is Kaliya right now. Many meditation techniques today are in the market which have catharsis. You shout, you scream, you do all kinds of things. And there are so many therapy groups now with these cathartic techniques. They're very, very famous with the New Age and Californian. Throw out your inhibitions. Shed your inhibitions. So you go through a therapy of catharsis for 10 days, 15 days, 3 weeks. You feel light, you feel peaceful. But again the same thing comes, the cause does not go. So here he dives deep into the lake and he's creating these waves. Now when he dived in the lake, some of the gopas went to call Nand and Yashoda, and everybody, the whole town gathered at the lake and they were all crying and shouting. Somebody was fainting. Everybody thought that Kaliya is going to kill Krishna.
Rajan, is that Jarakamara?
Right, that's it. So Krishna was seeing this from the lake. He allowed it for some time. And then he came out. He came out. Kaliya wrapped himself around Krishna and dug his fangs into Krishna. But Krishna slipped away. So everybody started clapping. They thought he will come out and... Right? But he started teasing Kaliya. He started teasing him. And Kaliya again held him. So again he started increasing his size. So he couldn't hold him and to let him slip. Then he kept on trying to strike him, but every time he tried to strike him, Krishna eluded him. And then he opened his 5 hoods. He opened his 5 hoods. And he tried to sting him. And Krishna jumped high in the air and he put one foot on one hood and one foot on the other hood, and he started dancing. And in that dance, the whole Prakriti, the whole of nature, the waves started beating to his tune, the wind in the tree started flowing to his music, and he was jumping from one hood to the other. So the waves started creating sweet music, the tempo rose, and like the tempo started rising, he started dancing faster and faster. And then the snake could not take any more of it. Instead of spitting out poison, it started spitting out blood. He was exhausted. He tried to rise, but he could not rise. Kaliya's wives came out from the lake and they bowed down to Krishna. Okay, please don't kill our husband. They told him he must have been so fortunate that you danced on his head. By then he could not stand it anymore. And the dance stopped. Kaliya bowed down to Krishna. And Krishna told him to go to Ramnak island. So then he said, I'll go to the island, but I'm very frightened of Garud. So he said, because I have danced on your head, my marks are on your head, Garud will never bother you again. So he left and the water of Yamuna became sweet and pure again. Why did he leave Kaliya? Why did he not kill Kaliya? And this act of dancing, supposing there is something beautiful in life, can we enjoy it? There's a good dinner, can we enjoy it? Or we go out for a drive, can we enjoy it? So all this comes through the 5 senses. Life is a dance. Life is a dance. So enjoy the moment. What do we have to drop? The desire for it to repeat. Sukh Anushayi Raga. This following of Sukh, this desire that Sukh should repeat, that is which gives birth to Rag, the seed for repetition. Attachment, the seed for repetition. Sukh Anushayi Raga. So enjoy each moment in life. You're wearing new clothes, enjoy them. But don't say, I'll buy another new shirt tomorrow. Enjoy that moment. So dance the dance of life. We cannot kill desire completely because it was his desire, his Ichha Shakti through which we are living. It is his desire which created the 3 worlds. It is the Atma's desire to enjoy that allows attention to flow out of the 5 senses. The Atma wants to enjoy, the soul wants to enjoy life. It is, yeah.
If all this is symbolic, what you say about the Nag and all that, then does it mean it never happened in reality?
That is something I never go into.
That what confuses me.
It's very, very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very difficult because there is no way we can know. There is no way we can know. And, you know, when we talk about this, the ego gets hurt or inflated, you know. And once I was arguing with one cousin of mine. And this cousin, he's a head of the Gurjat group in India. Very good friend. For years, our journey has gone together. And we were with Ramdullah and Bapu together. So, one day we were talking about the Egyptian civilization and Indian civilization. And he was saying, because Gurjat he was a Western guru. Gurjat was a Western guru. So, and their group goes to Egypt for expeditions to Egypt and to learn artifacts and this and that in Egypt. So he was saying the Egyptian civilization is the oldest and the highest. Nothing is beyond the Egyptian civilization. So then, you know, in arguing, I said, no, the Indian is much older and much higher than the Egyptian. So he was talking about the Sphinx. Now the Sphinx evokes certain emotions within us. It is a work of art which evokes the same emotions in everyone. When I go to an art gallery and I see a painting, I see it and a certain state is evoked in me. But if somebody else sees it, then a different state is evoked in that person. So, this kind of art is subjective art. We have little digressed from our thing, but we'll just go into this. Subjective art, which will evoke different passions, different emotions, different thoughts in everyone. So, you see the same painting, I see the same painting, different emotions are evoked. Then there is a higher form of art which is called objective art. And in this objective art, the emotions evoked are the same, only the intensity differs. You get it? So it's like a book of mathematics. You have more knowledge of mathematics, you will understand more than me. Right? But we won't understand something differently. You get what I'm trying to say? So a person who sees the Sphinx, his emotions will not be different from someone. A person who understands the Sphinx deeper may have the same emotions more deep than the other person. Now you understand what I'm trying to say. So there are two forms of art. One is subjective art, where free for all. And one is an objective form of art, where everybody has the same feeling, only the intensity differs. So he was telling about Egypt and the Sphinx and all that. So I asked him only one question, that we don't know whether Krishna was there or not there. We don't know whether Ram ever came or did not come. But we do know that Vyasji wrote this. That there was a person called Vyas who wrote this. It is, right? And it's a beautiful saying in this thing, that Valmiki wrote the Ramayana first, because he wrote it, Ram had to come. You see, it's so beautifully said in this thing, that he first wrote the Ramayana, then Ram had to follow, because of that objective writing which he had done. So we don't know whether this really took place or not took place. But a person could write this When he wrote it, we don't know. All explanations of dates have no meaning at all. But he wrote it in such a way that the geography of India became alive in it. No other work of art has been written in this way. Am I coming across? Supposing we say that Krishna never existed. Right? We say Krishna never, and the Pandavas never existed, and Yudhishthira and Bhim never existed. Right? Now here is a person who wrote this magnum opus, and he wrote it in such a way that today you will go and do darshan to a place where Krishna left his body, where Arjun went and cremated Krishna. Now how was it possible to write something taking the whole geography into account? You will say, Ram lived in Ayodhya, he had a bath in this kunda. When we think of this, the very thought is baffling. You see, what work of art is this? So I said, no, you cannot compare the Egyptian with the Indian, because it's been written in such a way that the whole country of India has become alive in this. People will go and they'll worship Krishna over here. No other civilization is this possible. So I don't know whether Krishna came or did not come. But I know this much, that because Vyasji wrote it, he had to come. I don't know if I'm coming across. Whether he was or not, he is. Whether he was or not, he is, because of the power of these writings. The power of the
Sorry. Because there's so much of symbolic incidences, how would one accept what is symbolic, what is the truth, what is false? Or would you just, I don't know, just decide what you want to believe?
At a certain level, you decide what you want to believe. But when you go in and see the truth of what is written, then
how do you know that it's the truth and not symbolic?
What is written is symbolic. But those symbols are keys which unlock truths inside.
Okay.
And when you turn the key and the truth unfolds, then Krishna becomes now.
Becomes real.
Real. More real than whether he was or not.
Yeah, I understand.
You see, you just understand the situation thousands of years ago. There was no science. Today, I am able to explain everything to you because I have a language to explain. You understand all these things. If I am talking about electronic universe, this universe, you understand that all those universes are lying within me. There was no language in those days to write this. The only way was to put it into symbols. Now the brain is ready to unlock those symbols and walk on the path which those symbols indicate.
It's actually mind-boggling and very interesting.
It's interesting. Somehow I feel I'm 57, but this life is too short for all this.
Rajendra, your view of what you experience, exactly what you said, is that the view of other gurus that you meet and other swamis, and is that, I know you have to have a meeting to discuss this in order to decide. What is it? Is it the same as your view, that it might have happened, it may not have happened, and it is symbolic, and then you can extract the truth from that?
It's very difficult to say. Very difficult to say. But I'll give you one incident. Like I said, I was with Ramdulare Bapu for 7 years. And he left the body in 1982. So this was 1975 to 1982. So he used to go to all these mysterious places. And I've known a person following him the whole day and next day going to look for those places and not being able to find them. It was a real mystic, real mystic. One day the Sadhu Samaj had met in Vradnath. So there were a number of gurus there. And they were all discussing whether Sonani Dwarka hati ke nati. Whether Krishna's Dwarka was made of gold or not made of gold. Whether it is symbolic. Whether when we are talking of Dwarka, whether it was symbolically made of gold or really made of gold. Same question which you are asking, but in a smaller connotation. So, all the sadhus were saying that Sonani Dwarka to na hoi sake, a symbolic che, because gold, it's a symbol of consciousness. So, a bhumi, that land in which this avatar of consciousness, that land of consciousness is Sonani Dwarka. Ramdulare Bapu didn't say anything. Yeah, he always spoke in telegraphic language. He never spoke one complete sentence. So, he didn't say anything. After the whole discussion was over, he said, Sonani Dwarka Hati. It was really made of gold. So everybody looked at him. Then he opened, he used to travel everywhere with a big rucksack, not the modern rucksack, an old rucksack. Halfway between a school bag and a rucksack. Huge it was. There was no way we could carry it also. And he was this huge one, he would carry that rucksack, and on that it was written, Ram Dulare Rakhadta Pata. And he took out that bag and he took out sand from that. And he gave it to one sadhu. You go to a Soni and you have this sand analyzed. You go to a goldsmith and have this sand analyzed. That sadhu went, that sand was 50% gold. There's no way of knowing. India is a land of mystery. If you know the mystery is gone. The mystery is to be lived and enjoyed. And in that you know the mystery, because you become the mystery. This is the joy. Just this one book, the Mahabharata, such a great joy. And in that we are taking 19 sloks from the Bhagavad? It's just a small part, but even that small part contains the whole, everything. So, it is symbolic. It is very symbolic. I'll just talk for 5 minutes more. 5 minutes more. When you go into the science of sound, then all this will take on a higher symbolism. Now, the science of sound is nothing but the science of Kundalini. Now, supposing we take one word of a Jain mantra called Namo Ariyantan. Namo Ariyantan. So, when we say the word we are vibrating the throat chakra. What lies in the throat chakra? Jealousy. There's also something higher which lies in the throat chakra. But we are invoking jealousy. We are trying to break that inner pattern of jealousy. Just by using the sound when we are saying Omkar, we are breaking that pattern of jealousy. Right? The arihanta, ra. So when you're saying the word ra, you're vibrating the Swadhisthana chakra. You're vibrating desire. Now I'm giving this to you in a very, superficial way. Because once we go into the depth of it, we'll have to break down everything. Into how many kinds of jealousy? There will be 16 kinds of jealousy. You get it? So when we are, each word has a phonetic meaning and has a literal meaning. Not only has so the Sanskrit language is not just a language of meaning in the sense, like say in this we'll use one word, vyal. Right? The gopis will say, okay, you saved us from the python called vyal. Vyal means a python. Vyal ti te hamaro raksha kare. Now that is the literal meaning of the word vyal. Now when you go, then Sanskrit has a deeper meaning which they call as dhatu, the verb, the flowing meaning, the karmic meaning. You get it? So when you go into the dhatu, the word vyal means an ornament. Now the literal meaning python, the word meaning ornament, what does it mean? Something that keeps us in its grasp, which totally binds us, and still we take as an ornament. See, just one word we take as an ornament. Now if you go into the phonetic meaning of it, the phonetic, so when you are using the word va, you are vibrating the Swadhisthana chakra and different forms of desire. And all this is scientifically arranged. It is not just symbolism, it is keys, and each word has a key to open out something. Meaning wise, dhatu wise, phonetically. What I am doing is just not even the top of the wave. This is nothing what we are talking about. But it's so deep, These Shastras are so deep. And when the science is unlocked, I am sure in the future, because now the brain has changed and the people are going to come who are going to unlock all this, go into all this. Then the real meaning of everything will come out. The different meanings. At this level it means this, but you go deeper, it change, the meaning change of the same word will change. And you still go deeper, it will change completely. At every level the meaning will be different. And that is the mystery of this. Whether Krishna existed or did not exist doesn't make any difference. But when you go into this, you can live what he did at that time now. You can go through the same emotions, the same sensitivities, the same playfulness. And these are the keys to unlock that. Anyway, we'll go as slowly as we can. I remember the last year when I came over here, we went for a tour of the harbour, and there was one boat over there, and when we sat in the boat, he was taking us on a tour of the harbour. He said, this boat has only 2 speeds, slow and ultra slow. So we'll go ultra slow. It's a joy, going into this, and when you tell it to others, it opens out more. The sensitivities, you live those sensitivities. It's not just talking to people. I mean, it's a feedback process. Stop over here. Right? Tomorrow we'll take the other Rakshas. I wanted to go into Vrushasur, the Rakshas of passion. What passion means, we'll take that tomorrow. Thank you. Jai Shri Krishna. Good night. Visajala apyaya યમુનાનું પાણી જે વિષ બનેલું તે કાલિયા નાગથી તે ભયનો નાશ કર્યો. You have repeatedly saved us from the poisoned water of the Yamuna, from the terrible man-eater Agha, from the great rains, from the wind demon, the fiery thunderbolt of Indra, and the bull demon, and from the son of Mayadana. Visajala apyaya Vyala Rakshasa, Vyal Roop Rakshas, Ajgarno Roop Lay Adhasura, the python. Varsham Maruta, the rains, Varsha, Maruta, એટલે તૃણવત અસુર, અને વાયુ. ઇન્દ્રએ વરસાવેલો ધોધમાર વરસાદ અને વાયુ રૂપમાં તૃણવત. વૈદ્યુત અનલત તસ્મત વીજળી તસ્મત વૈદ્યુત અનલ વીજળીને અગ્નિથી એટલે actually વીજળી નો અગ્નિથી, the fire that is born out of electricity. વૃષ મયા આત્મજાત વૃષાસુર અરિષ્ટાસુર અને મય દાનવનો દીકરો મય આત્મજાત વ્યોમાસુર. વિશ્વતો ભયા બધી બાજુથી તે અમને રક્ષણ કર્યું છે. એટલે વિશ્વતો ભયા would be the inner sanskar of fear, the inner pattern of fear, which we will call as abhinivesh. ચારે બાજુથી તે રક્ષા કર્યું છે, from all sides. મુહુ વારંવાર, મુહુ means repeatedly. રક્ષિતા વયમ અમારું. Geography. With this word Rishabh, the power to procreate. Now, in nature, there is no wastage in nature. Everything is recycled. There is no wastage. If a leaf falls from the tree, it doesn't go a waste. It's only man who has waste. Still, there is one place in nature where it looks like waste, but we don't understand it. Here we have to understand the meaning of this word Rusha, the one who has risen above sexual passion, the one who has risen above the power to procreate. So, where in nature is there a wastage? Where in nature is there a wastage? In nature, where is there a wastage? Which seems apparent, but nature has a purpose behind it. In the sexual act, in the act of sex, where one sperm is needed, millions die. What could be the reason for this? This is medical science will not understand this. There is no way medical science, there must be some other reason that these millions of sperm are over there. It must represent some other energy which can be channelized in some other way. With the meaning of Rushabh, the one who has used all. The one who has used all. Hey Rushabh, you have saved us from this. They are saying something to Krishna. So, what does it mean? Does it represent that here too, this is the energy in nature to procreate, but if man wants to rise in consciousness, then nature has given him this extra energy over there. So it has a dual function, this energy. Somebody will ask, what about female and what about male? So, female already has the power to give birth. Already has the power to give birth. It is this which is missing in the rising of energy, that these extra cells are there. These extra cells which die at the time of procreation. So they are addressing him as Hey Rishabh, the one who has manifested that unmanifest power of creation, who has turned this energy into the rising of the Kundalini, the rising of the Shakti. Rishabh means the bull, solar energy. I'm reminded of the stock market. When the market goes up, it is called a bull. So the rising energy is called bull. Hey Rishabh, the rising energy is called bull. The one who is grounded in nature is bull. लेते हमने वारंवार रक्षा, तो हमारी वारंवार रक्षा करेगी. So we took Kaliya Nag that day. Now, one day the boys decided to go in the forest for a picnic. So they left early in the morning. And Krishna would go ahead and he would ask them to catch him when they were playing a game. While they were playing, an Asur came over there and his name was Aghasur, the python. And he was the brother of Puttana and Bakasur, both whom Krishna had killed. So he decided to kill Krishna and the other Gopas. So he saw on which path they were going to return, and he took a huge form, opened his jaws and laid on the path over there. When the children were returning home, the Gopas saw this huge thing. It looked like a cave, so they started going in one by one. One of them even passed a comment that supposing it is a huge python, so they said that don't worry, Krishna will save us from the huge python. And they all one by one went into the mouth of the python. Now, Krishna saw this, he saw that it was a python, and he was the last who went into the mouth. And he heard them also talking that even if it is a python, he will save us. And then the python closed its mouth. All the Gopas, they went into a swoon. They became unconscious over there. Krishna went into the throat and then he started increasing his size. And the python choked and died. The boys then came out, they woke up from their swoon and they came out. The word used here is not Aghasur. Agh means to go, to do wrong. Paap karu, Aghasur, it's like paap karu. But the word used over here is Vyal Rakshas. Yeah. V-al-ach. Al means competency. That which swallows competency. That which makes a person impotent. Which swallows competency. જે આપણી શક્તિ બધી ગળી જાય એ અજગર. Vyal also means an ornament which we wear. Now life force is given to us for a certain purpose. આપણને જે જીવન આપ્યું છે એની પાછળ એક જ મતલબ છે, એક જ ધ્યેય છે. Only one aim is there. And that aim is we wake up, we realize our inner nature, our true nature. That is the only thing. But we waste that energy. We waste that energy in something takes away. It's કંઈ ગળી જાય છે બધી આપણી શક્તિને. What is it that swallows up all our energy? What is it? And it adorns us, we use it as an ornament. We don't even know about it. It is an ornament in our lives. We've talked about it in the last few days. એ ઘરેણું છે, છતાંય આપણી બધી શક્તિ ખાઈ જાય છે. What is it? What is it? The false personality. The false personality. All our rewards, all our medals, all our reputation, our name, our fame, our titles, everything is lies. It takes all life's energy. Nothing should happen to my reputation. Okay, just think, which eye do we meet life with? Supposing I'm meeting him, who is meeting him? Who is meeting him? Is it a personal bundle of reactions which is meeting him? A personal bundle of emotions that is meeting him? All personal? If he says something wrong about me, it will flare up. Right? If he does something I don't like, I'll feel hurt. All this is false. And every moment it is this which is meeting life. The real never meets life. Supposing we go bow down to the God, is it the real meeting the God or is it the false meeting the God? If somebody says something about our God, we'll get. Right? We take out a sword and start fighting for it. So every moment that what is it in us that meets life? And this is the false, and that takes away all our energy. It chokes us like a python. It strangles us. And we are completely in the grasp of false personality, in the grasp of the false. The day we were given a name, this process started. The jaws opened and we started going into the mouth of the python. And we feel it is an ornament. Oh, I have achieved so much in life. I have become so much in life. So many people know me in life. And we don't realize that it is swallowing all our energy with the energy which was given to us for a totally different purpose. This dominates us. It's all the illusions that we have of ourselves. It takes time for these illusions to break. How many pictures we are carrying. This false personality, it makes us unhappy when there is never any need to be happy. Just imagine if somebody says something about our God, or somebody says something about our Guru, or even if somebody says something about us, where is the need to be unhappy in this? But we create misery out of nothing. We are experts at creating misery. And everything is false. So we see life through these false goggles that we are wearing, which is called false personality. and it has to choke, it has to die. The only way is to get a new feeling of life. Life comes in, try to change the feeling. Who is taking life in? Who is that which is receiving life? Now, what is it when life is coming in each moment? There is one feeling inside which is there all the time. That I want to be good in the light of others. Compared to others, I must be better. And this false personality, for its survival, what does it have to do? What does it have to do? This feeling of being better, this feeling of doing good, this feeling that everybody feels that I'm a good person, this feeling is that I don't do bad of anybody. What does it have to do to the false? For it to survive, what does it have to do?
It needs the approval of others.
It needs approval of others, and it needs to discriminate others. It needs to discriminate others. It needs to criticize others. It needs to put down the other. Otherwise it won't survive. We may be doing so many things. We may be doing our puja in the morning. We may be going to our guru. We may be going to the temple. We may be doing so many things. But if all this is going to just give us a feeling of goody-goody arrogance, it has no meaning at all. So who is the real person inside? And it is that search, the real I. Every moment it is the false which leads life. So we are in the grip of the false. So the first thing he says is, the Gopi said, you broke our false personality. You got rid of the false personalities. Visajala apyayat vyala rakshasa varsham marutat. Now we'll take Vidyut, Anal and Varsha together as Indra. Marutat, Trunavatsu. One day Yashoda was bathing Krishna, and suddenly she saw that he was becoming heavy. Another of Kansa's asurs had come to Gokul. Ever since Putana had been killed, everyone knew that the danger, Kans and all his people knew that there was some danger in Gokul. They didn't know what it was as yet. They knew it was some dark-skinned child who was the darling of everyone. So this asur came in the form of a whirlwind, Vavajuhu. It was so powerful that leaves and dust was flying everywhere. Everybody was overpowered by the fury of the blast. No one was able to see anything. They had to close their eyes. To even stand, you had to hold on to something. People were running everywhere in panic. Yashoda rushed to the courtyard, but she couldn't find Krishna. Stones and dust were falling from the sky. Trunavat had carried the child far away. What carries us far away? What carries us far away? Imagination, yes. Imagination. Carries us far away, daydreaming. High in the sky. But Krishna became heavy. What would heavy mean? What would heavy mean? The meaning of becoming heavy, what would it mean? Vajan Vadiya. bringing presence. Bringing presence. Just we are hypnotized, we are dreaming. But the minute we become bringing presence, the dream dies. That very moment the dream dies. So Trunavrat had carried the child high in the sky. But he became very heavy, so heavy that he could carry him no further. He found it impossible to lift the child, and at the same time he could not drop him. He tried to drop him, but he couldn't drop him. Krishna had caught his neck in his two hands, and he started choking him. What does it mean to choke the dream? Choking him. Choking. Why is imagination so difficult to fight with? Not fight with, but to get rid of, to be free of imagination, right? Why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult? Swaraswai. What does it mean? Imagination. Imagination. It does not need any. Our cars need petrol. But imagination needs no petrol. From one dream it gets enough of petrol for the next dream, and for the next dream it gets enough of petrol from the previous dream. So there's no need of, it is Swarasvai, it gets its own petrol from its own self. It's like a vicious cycle, this daydreaming. And that is why it is a whirlwind, it goes round and round. So he was high in the sky, he became heavy, caught his neck. So we must stop giving it food. And how are we going to stop giving it food? How are we going to stop giving it food?
Being present.
Being present is to stop the dream. But we want to choke it also. We want to choke it. And where does the food come from? Where does the food... For daydreaming, where does the food come from? Yeah, mind. But the inner chatter. The inner chatter. Try to see. He says something to me, I get angry. Right? I'm chattering inside and the daydream begins. It is as if there are two people inside. Right? So I'm chattering inside and the daydream begins. In India, in between, there was a lot of shortage of, coins. So you go to a shop to buy something, and instead of change, he'll give you some sweets. So one day I went to buy something, and this shopkeeper gave this handful of sweets, and the monkey starts chattering. Right. And I was watching this monkey, and from one small chatter, one daydream starts. I should go and argue with him, I should do this with him, I should do that with him, and how to put him in his place, how to show it to him. Just one small, the petrol comes from somewhere, then it doesn't need petrol. So you have to choke it at its beginning, where it starts. You have to stop the food over there. And you feel hurt that he didn't give you back change and he gave you a few sweets in return. So, and it happens all the time. We always feel somebody has cheated us a little or something of that sort. So Krishna caught his neck. He felt as if a rock had been tied round his neck, which was throttling him. He was grasping for breath, and after some time he just stopped dead. He fell to the ground with Krishna in his arms. Acha, what else leads to a cyclone in our life? What else leads to a cyclone in our life? Greed? Greed? Does greed lead to a cyclone in our life? This afternoon we went shopping. So there was this huge board, sale 50%. Right. And I was quietly watching everything, and suddenly I saw this huge board, sale 50%. Immediately I started looking inside, and everything was moving at high speed. This greed. Oh, maybe I'll get something for nothing. This tornado inside. Trunavatsu. And then I suddenly stopped over there. I said, do I need anything? Then why is this thing moving at this speed? I don't need anything, whether the sale is there or not. I said, if I become a victim of this, I would buy all useless things which I don't need. Maybe that's what happens at a sale. Right? Another tornado is passion. Passion. We become victims of passion. So, now what is presence in this whole cyclone? What is presence? There's a beautiful book written by one scientist. His name is John Lilly. He died, I think, in 2001. Center of the Cyclone. It's a beautiful book. And what does he say about the center of the cyclone? It is, the whole cyclone is full of activity. The center is totally silent. The center is totally silent. Nothing happens at the center. The presence is the center. The whole chakra of sansar is rotating around presence. This whole sansar is because of presence. But at presence, the center where presence is, nothing is. What did Shankaracharya say when he achieved that enlightenment? What were the words which came out of his mouth? Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Now somebody else would feel that some ego is saying something. It was not the ego saying anything. It was not the ego saying anything. But it was a way, like if I come home, I'll shout to my wife, oh, I've come home. I'll shout to my mother, I've come home. It was Shankaracharya saying, oh, I've come home. I've reached my home. I've reached the center. I've reached that place where everything is moving, everything is changing in life. Everything is in a whirlwind, but here where I am, it's totally eternal and totally peaceful. Aham Brahmasmi. Where are we caught in the whirlwind? Where are we caught in the whirlwind? Which part of our lives are we caught in the whirlwind? Supposing we wanted to take a unit of our life, and represent it as what would we say? Now, supposing I write a letter to you, right, and you don't reply for 2-3 months, and then you say sorry, and what will you write? It's sorry, and what will you justify in that sorry? That I was caught up in the whirlwind of daily life. Going in the morning, dropping the children, coming back, making breakfast, getting ready, going to office, doing this, doing that. What for us is a whirlwind? One day in a life. One day in a life. It's a whirlwind. We are caught in that day. Go to a station in India, go to a VT station or the other station, go on the bridge and just stand there in meditation. Everybody is running. They're caught in this whirlwind of life. Where they're going, what they're doing. So one day for us is Trunavatsur. We are caught in that whirlwind of one day. And the only way to be free of this is to do whatever we are doing, but to bring presence, to bring heaviness, to bring. You don't have to change what you're doing, but the minute we bring presence to what we are doing, bring consciousness, the same things change. The same things change. We are doing the same thing. It is the same time. It is the same whirlwind. It is same running to school to drop the children. It is the same cooking breakfast in the kitchen. But everything seems that as if we are doing it in extended time. Suddenly, the time doesn't stop. Everything remains the same. And still the inner feeling changes. The way we are doing it changes. There is no rush. And still everything is happening at its own pace. Can we do this? Just separate from life. That center of the cyclone. Beautiful saying of Christ, sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. It is sufficient to work on the evil of one day only. We don't have to do anything else. One day is enough. Just one day in our life. What is a year? A year is just a collection of days. And what is a lifetime? It is a collection of years. One day, the repetition of the day is the year. If we can change just one day in our life. And that one day we do everything, the same thing, we drop them at school, but the inner touch is different. There's nowhere to reach. The inner touch is different. And we are cooking and the inner touch is different. Everything changes. Then we are free, the whirlwind dies. We are free of the whirlwind. But for us, a certain just average day is our average life. That's it. One day tells the story of our life. Can we just intellectually at least see this? That it is just what is our life? It's just a recurring similarity. Everything is just recurring in our lives. So if we can change that one day, make that one day different, then everything will change. Then Trunavatsur will die. So, Varsha Maruta Vaidya Anala Tasmat. Anal Tasmat. Vidyut Anal Tasmat. So, I've taken Maruta different and Vidyut Ane Varsha I've taken together. Right? Now one day, Krishna saw that everybody was preparing for a festival. And so he asked his father, Nanda, what festival are you preparing for? What are you celebrating? So he says, it's a big yajna. For whom is this yajna? It is for Indra, the god of rain. Our wealth is our cattle. And the cattle need grass and the grass needs rain. So that is why every year we worship Indra. So Krishna said, I don't agree with your. The grass is given by this Govardhan Parvat. This mountain, Govardhan, gives you the grass. You must worship the mountain Govardhan. You don't have to worship Indra. Nand felt frightened that his boy was talking like this. He called the town elders together and they said that, okay, we'll listen to what Krishna says, we will worship the mountain Govardhan. in that worshipping of the mountain Govardhan, Krishna himself became the mountain. And he allowed them to worship him. He became the spirit of Govardhan and everybody worshipped him instead of Indra, and the festival was over. The yagna was over. Indra summoned a group of clouds. Now, each group of clouds he summons and they have different names, the different kinds of thunderbolts and I'm not going into all that, I've not written it down, but it's very, very interesting. So he summons a group of clouds and there is rain and lightning, Varsham, Vidyut, Anal, Tasmat. Everybody went to Krishna. Initially nobody bothered, they said it's raining. But slowly water started filling up everywhere. Right? There was lightning everywhere. So they went to Krishna. Krishna told them to take all their cattle and everything together and he lifted the mountain, Govardhan. And they stayed under the mountain for 1 week while Indra rained and gave lightning. 7 days and 7 nights. After 7 days, Indra realized his folly. And he realized that he had done a mistake and it was because of his ego. So the skies became blue again, everything calmed down, and then Krishna told everybody to go home. And when he was alone, he then put the mountain back on the ground. And then Indra with Kamdhenu came to him, and Indra bowed down to him. And Indra asked for his forgiveness and he poured water on him. Kamdhenu brought the waters of the Mandakini, the Akash Ganga, and they poured water on him and they crowned him with a crown and they said, from today your name will be Govind. Govind. Because you lifted the mountain Govardhan. Your name is Govind. The protector of the cows. Now, the wording here is very beautiful. Vidyut Anal Tasmat. Vidyut is electricity. Anal is Na Asti Allah Agni. Jenu Khappar Bharatu Nathi. That fire which will keep on consuming and never get satisfied. Jetlu home purtu na hai. You keep on giving to the fire, but the fire is never satisfied. In us, that is Kamagni and Krodhagni. Sexual passion and anger. Right? They take away everything. They are fires which take away everything. Now, again, if you look at the word Vidyut, it comes from the word Dyut, to shine, to sparkle, to make bright. So, something that was higher, some energy which was higher, which was a bright energy, from that was born a fire, Anal. And so, it's as if we have certain energy within us which we can't hold. We can't hold. Right? I tell you a secret. One of the tricks which the Guru used to play was this telling of secrets. So the Guru loved to create, a jealousy and competition in the disciples. This way he keeps on watching the show. Right? So he'll call one disciple and he'll say that, I'm telling you something in secret, you don't tell that. He knows you're going to go to tell, because we can't hold anything. He knows he doesn't have the power of holding. So he tells him that that person has no chance of achieving anything in this life. But I'm telling you this in secret. And he wants that person to make extra effort. He wants the fire to be born inside. The fire of anger, the fire of passion. And to transform it. That fire is born out of higher substance. But we can't hold it inside. So we waste that fire in anger and we waste it in sexual passion. We throw it away. So that which is shining, from that the fire is born. And this fire is given a name, Anal. Anal means which is never satisfied. It's never satisfied. So it's like a short circuit. There's too much energy inside, you have to throw it out. It could happen in jealousy, right? It could be happen suddenly. I am somebody throws a stone and I feel greed inside, lalchi. In this whole episode, Indra got insulted that they did not worship him and they worshipped this mountain called Govardhan. Indra got insulted. So these are the short circuits inside. Now let us try to go into the meaning of Govardhan, what it means. Yesterday, we had said man is a three-storied being. Thinking, emotions, instinctive and moving. 3 stories. Right? 3 stories. Now, let's put this on the side because thinking is always in the past or in the future. It is based on memory. So thinking is a dead thing. It is dead time. Now, we'll get rid of moving just now. We are not talking about moving. We are talking about the 5 senses. What is Indriya? Indra, the energy of the senses, sensitivity. What is Go? The 5 senses. Go means the senses. Vardhan means to expand. Vardhan means to expand. Everybody has to go through this. Anyone walking on the path has to go through this. Now, emotions are in a different time. They are in a different time. The senses are in the senses are in present moment. Present moment. Now, this and this, they are mixed. And we want to separate them. We want to separate them. Right? What happens? What happens? How do we do it? How do we do it? Sensitivity and feeling. I like the word feeling again. Plus sensitivity. And of course, sensitivity, we don't have it. This, for us, it moves into now. How are we going to separate this? And this is a practice which everyone has to do. How are we going to do this? Then we all become Govardhan. Right? We all become Govardhan. How do we do this? See, what Krishna is saying to Nanda is that Indra owns the 5 senses. He does not own the feeling. He is taking the feeling free of charge. He is taking the feeling free of charge. We don't want to give it to him. We don't want to. The energy of the senses belongs to him. He is the king of the 5 senses. Indriyono Swamiji. Right? But what about feeling? A bhav jagat sukha mafat ma nahi jai. Why does he take feeling free of charge? What does it mean? What does it mean? I'm drinking the tea. What is the sensitivity of the tea and what is the feeling of the tea?
Sensitivity is the heat and the taste.
Heat and the taste. And feeling is good or bad. Good or bad. Now, if I can separate these two, then it becomes the 5 senses have expanded. It is called Govardhan. But as long as both these are together, Indra is taking, sensitivity belongs to him, but he is taking feeling free of charge. He is taking feeling free of charge. And what do I have to do this? What do I have to do? 2 things I have to do. 2 things. From excitement I have to move to sensitivity. And on the feeling level I have to work on feeling I have to work on like and dislike. Like. So excitement and sensitivity we've talked a lot about. How do we work on like and dislike? Every moment there are likes and dislikes. In Gurujev's study house, he had a wall full of sayings. One of the sayings was, like what it dislikes. Like what it dislikes. Can we practice it? Can we get over dislike? Because dislike is violence. To dislike anything is violence. Can we get over dislike? And in the small things in life, we are cleaning something. Cleaning is a function of the moving center. We say, it's smelling badly, I don't like it. Separate the emotional center from the instinctive center. The moving center. Separate it. You have to clean it, that's it. Why are you bringing like and dislike in between? But everything is mixed in us, nothing is separate. You have to go somewhere, you have to drive 100 miles. And you say, oh, I hate to drive 100 miles. Now, you just have to go from A place to B place. Why are you bringing like and dislike in between? It has nothing to do with the situation. You have to go. Can we separate this? Then we all become Govardhan, otherwise we won't become. And then we keep on doing puja to him and that's it. In working on dislike, what happens? What happens? One dislike, if we can overcome one dislike. Supposing somebody is coming to my home all the time and I don't like it. We are coming to that. I've seen it in many homes. The husband comes in the evening. भाई तू ओला ने तो कही देजे कि भाई आओ તું હોય ત્યારે આવે, પણ હું અહીંયા એકલી હોઉં ત્યારે તો નહીં આવે. Dislike. And why do we dislike that person? Can we see that we are that person? We are that person. We talked the other day of the dark side. I think 2 days ago we talked about the dark side. Supposing there's a huge house, right? And we are the owners of the house, but we have one big butler, and that butler, he is the manager of all the other servants in the house, right? We call that butler as the ego, and that ego is supposed to manage the house, and he is actually controlling the whole house. The person who is owning the house, he's, I don't know what, he may be drinking from morning to evening. So, he's not there at all to manage the house. Now, there are certain things which he will wake him up from his stupor, will wake him up from that hypnosis which he is in. And the ego does not want those things to come into, for him to see it. So the ego hides, the butler hides this in some rooms of the house. He knows that this owner of the house has never gone in this room. He's never bothered to go into this part of the house or that part of the house. He's never gone. So he hides everything in that. What is the feeling of dislike? What does the ego see in dislike? When somebody comes we don't like. And this is in everything that we dislike. Everything that we dislike. What does it mean? What does it mean? Why is this sudden restlessness, this feeling inside? What does the ego feel? That fellow whom I told him to stay in that room and not come out has come out. He has come in the form of another person. He has not come from the inner room. He is coming from the inner room is in darkness. It is the dark side. But he has come in the form of another person. What we are has been, what is hidden in us has been projected in the other person. He is like that. The ego feels that fellow, if the Malik of this house, this owner of the house sees this person, he'll wake up immediately. My control will go away. Get rid of this guy immediately. Anything we dislike lies within us.
Rajan bhai, what happens in the case where, I hear what you're saying, but what if you know this person's really does not have a good intention or a well-meaning person and you don't want to be in the energy center, or it could be a danger to you by having that person in your home?
No, I'm not saying keep that person in your home. I'm saying get rid of your, work on your dislike.
Sure, but how do you separate it from this, where there is this person that could be a danger to you?
Yeah.
Now, I will say, from what you're saying, is that me now?
So I will wait for 5 minutes. I won't tell him anything, and then I will tell him in such a way that it's not a reaction. I'll tell him in a way, and in that will give me some time to work on my inner feeling of dislike. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be anything. It could be anything. It could be anything. I don't want to go into it, but it could be anything. The dark side. The whole idea is to bring light there. What happens if we can just get over the dislike? What happens if we can just get over the dislike? What happens? Try, just think about it. I have done it, that's why I'm talking, saying this. It's a very tough journey working with dislikes. I'm not saying I've got over all of them, but I'm talking about one dislike. One dislike. Anugam. One. If you can get over one dislike, there is a sudden inner release of energy. It is as if you become free. And as that dislike suddenly turns inside, it changes into like. There's a whole different feeling in you. You feel as if you've been freed. There's nothing in life which you dislike any longer. But I don't like him, I don't like her. I definitely don't like the clothes he's wearing. And his car is like this, and his house is like this. Dislike. And we are only increasing the pattern of dislike. And the more we increase the pattern of dislike, the more violence we accumulate inside. Because we keep on not liking, and that not liking connects to the animal, and we are violent. In that not liking, we are aggressive. So, Govardhan, to separate the feeling consciousness from the sensing consciousness. To keep on working on it. The liking, disliking is feeling consciousness. Now, the sensing consciousness is in the present moment. Because the sensing consciousness and the feeling consciousness are, stuck with each other, the feeling consciousness cannot move out of the present moment. Now what happens? When we separate them, what happens? What happens? Go wind. Go indriya, the senses. Wind etle jene vindyu che. The one who has pierced through. The one who has pierced through. Wind means to pierce. What will happen? Just imagine what will happen. The feeling consciousness is not a part of this time. It is not a part of this linear time. It is a part of some other time. The minute it is free of the sensing consciousness, it will move in some other time and it will flower into something totally different within us. This is what Patanjali calls as Viveka Khyate, the flowering of Vivek. The flowering of Vivek. Then there will be a feeling of something totally different inside. The feeling of truth, because it is no longer in shackles. Our emotions are no longer in shackles. It's no longer tied to what is happening in the present moment. The tea may be good, the tea may be bad, but the emotional consciousness has nothing to do with it. What else will happen? What else will happen in life? What else? Most important, the minute the feeling consciousness is separate from the sensing consciousness, what will happen? Most important, what will go totally from our life? The first day we talked about it. What will go totally from our life? Reactions. All reactions are of the feeling consciousness, not of the sensing. It is our emotions. I have a thought, the thought is bound to an emotion. It is that emotion. A life free of reactions. All violence has vanished from life. No aggressiveness. No reaction. Because the feeling consciousness and the sensing consciousness have separated. So the first is to purify the sensing consciousness from excitement to sensitivity, and then sensitivity to increase the, expand the senses so that the feeling consciousness separates. The feeling consciousness moves into vertical time. The sensing consciousness is moment to moment. The thoughts gather all these moments and they call it time. The thoughts put together all these moments and call it time. But the feeling consciousness has separated. If the thoughts stop, also it will go, the thinking consciousness will move somewhere else. We'll go into that some other day. But the feeling consciousness has moved into another time. This is called the power of discrimination, vivek. So, he lifts the mountain and Govardhan, expansion of the 5 senses. Okay. Now, what else will happen when the senses expand? Because each sense is dual. It is outer and inner at the same time. The inner is not in our conscious sphere. It is in the sphere of dreams. The inner. But it is not in our conscious sphere. What will happen? See, today the whole world is studying dream symbology. Dream symbology. Right? Okay, suppose we take only this one. That a tornado. Supposing I see a tornado in the dream, what does it mean? What does it mean? Does it mean something good is going to happen, something bad is going to happen? Does it mean that the old is going to die because the tornado gets rid of it? Something new is going to happen in my life, etc., etc. So, there is a dream symbology. Right? Now, suddenly I have expanded the senses. What do I become aware of? Excuse me. What do I become aware of? The dream. Not the sleeping dream when I go to sleep at night, but the dream now. Now. You get it? I see a board 50% sale, I become aware of the dream now. The tornado is moving inside. The senses have expanded. The senses have expanded. If the feeling consciousness rises, it will sense that tornado. It will sense it. Just as in a dream I am reading something into the symbology of the dream, the feeling consciousness will read something into the symbology of the reaction which I have inside. It is watching the reaction and it is feeling the reaction at the same time. It is moving in a different time. This is very, very important, this one sloka, because of this one word where they, this expansion of the senses. So the gopis are saying, you saved us from this, rain, and you saved us from this lightning, the lightning and the fire born of lightning called Anal. Anal is one of the Vasus, the 8 Vasus. I'll just touch on them a little bit. Then we'll go to the final one. Dhara. The axle. Dhara means the axle. That is the first Vasu. That which holds and supports. It is the power of holding a thought and holding a problem. Anal, fire. That which allows us to recognize, the feeling of recognition. Anil, wind. the feeling that I am getting hypnotized, I am getting identified. Something is hypnotizing. Aha, or atmosphere. Each thought or word or feeling that each word we speak, each thought we have, each feeling we have comes with an atmosphere. Just by mistake, if I say one word to you, the whole atmosphere will change. One small word, which is done unconsciously, done, right? So each thought, to sense and feel that atmosphere. Pratyush, or the gap. We say the gap between day and night, the gap between breathing. Here, the gap between sensing and feeling. Soma, the moon which reflects the light of the sun, the power of reflection inside, meditation, chintan inside. And Dhruv, the central point. These are the 8 vasus. I just wanted to touch on them because one word here has come, Anal. Anal is one of the vasus. Right? So the gopis are saying that you have saved us from this lightning and thunder of Indra, this rain of Indra. Right? You have saved us from Vrushasur. Vrushasur. We'll take Vrushasur. This is another asur which came in the form of a bull. Again, now it's very symbolic in this slok that they address Krishna as Hey Vrushab, and one of the asurs is also Vrushasur, and they don't use the other name Arishtasur. They use the name Vrushasur. When he came as a bull, the earth trembled, the whole of Gokul was trembling with his hooves, there were dust storms everywhere, and he was running everywhere. Everybody was frightened. Again Krishna said that don't worry, I will protect you. He caught hold of the horns, pulled out a horn, and he killed the Rakshas, the Asur. Vrushasur, sexual passion. What frees us from sexual passion? What frees us from sexual passion? In relation to what we talked 2 days ago, the dark side, that we all have a dark side. What frees us from sexual passion? We want to be free. We are all victims of sexual passion. How do we be free of that? This male and female. When we fall in love, is it really love or is it infatuation? And what is real love? What is real love? Supposing I am a male, then my dark side is what? Female. My dark side is female. Now, I am searching for a female in life. I get married to a woman. Which woman will I marry? Which woman will I marry? That my dark side will be divided into good qualities and bad qualities or negative qualities. I will look for the one automatically which I feel matches my good qualities, but in her dark side will also be the opposite. Because she is a woman and in her dark side will be a man. Now try to understand this. We want to be free. This is all yogis for thousands of years have worked on this one problem, to be free of sexual passion. And the only way is to rise in consciousness, to make the dark side, bring it into light. Right? So actually we are all half people. Half we don't know, half is hidden. The other half remains in the dark throughout our lives. And we are always seeking for that other half somewhere else. something to fulfill me, something to complete me, and we are already complete inside, we don't realize.
That's why I call us Ardhanini.
Huh?
That's why I call us Ardhanini.
Ardhanini, yeah. It's an illness, huh? It is an illness. Woman feels fascinated by man and man feels fascinated by woman. And we'll substitute the word fascination with infatuation. Now, just imagine, supposing I become conscious of my inner woman, supposing we become conscious of the inner woman or inner man, can anyone else infatuate us or fascinate us again? Is it possible? Can anyone repulse us again? Because all what we see beautiful outside is already within us, and all that we see ugly outside is also within us. How can I call someone ugly while it's lying there? It's lying there in the dark side, in the dark side of myself. By fighting with sexual passion, nobody has been free. They do all sorts of crazy experiments of brahmacharya and this and that. It's all nonsense. It can never work. It can never work. And when this inner dark side comes into light, brahmacharya happens automatically. Infatuation is a kind of hypnosis. And in hypnosis, we never see anything as it is. Anger is a kind of hypnosis. Any decision taken in anger can never bring order out of confusion. It's not possible because anger is the biggest hypnosis. This understanding that the other person is within me. She may be physically beautiful or physically non-attractive. Psychologically beautiful, psychologically non-attractive. But that person is within me. Then what will happen in life? Because there are two bodies, the law of attraction will work, but there will be no infatuation, no fascination. You cannot fall in love. How can you fall in love? Because the one you are falling in love with is already you. It's not possible. Not the love as we take love. I have fallen in love with her or whatever. I can't do without her. It's not possible. Vrishasur, he kills this demon. Vrusha, and his name is Vrusha in this. See, we talked about the four states of consciousness also. Turiya. So, in this state of Turiya, we see everything in reality. In reality. So, I am about to tell somebody that she is ugly or she is like this, and I say, oh, in this state of reality, she is me inside. And there is nothing ugly in life. She is me. I cannot tell her she is ugly because she is me. How can I tell myself? How can I get angry on my wife? There is no way to get angry on her because she is me. It is, I have searched for myself to complete myself. That's why I have married this woman. It is not something out, it is my inner female that I went and got married to. Everything will change. Then this romantic, illusory love will go away forever.
What happens to those people that have 2 to 3 wives?
Maybe it's easier for them, I don't know. What about the kings of old? Huh?
Living in the dream.
Yeah.
What about the gay people?
It works out to the same thing. It works out to the same. That the identification has become a kind of dream. No? It works out to the same thing. Gay people. What I'm trying to say is that we are both male and female. And we don't realize this because the whole part of our consciousness is in the dark.
And Rajan, what you're saying is that it's fine to be gay because it makes sense. Because if you're male and female inside, so it's irrespective of whether you male or female on the outside. So if you're gay, then that's fine.
Yeah, but then certain laws, certain harmony goes with the body. We won't go into all that. Just the physical body will have a certain harmony. Some things are in rhythm and some things are not in harmony. So we won't go into all that. But what I'm trying to say is that there is a way of increase of consciousness.
Does that also work when your parents choose a bride for you?
Yeah. What can the parents choose? What can the parents choose? No, you tell me about everyone's psychology. Can they choose a different psychology? You tell me that one psychology is free of cunningness, one psychology is free of jealousy, then the parents have chosen well. But the psychology which you are going to get will have everything. And that is the beauty. That is the beauty. That two psychologies are meeting, two bodies are not meeting. In the illusion, two bodies are meeting. It is two psychologies. And each psychology then works on the other, so that the other can find the other inside. In the Bible, this is called as the soul gets entangled in life. The Bible says that if there's a male body, the soul is female. And if there's a female body, the soul is male. And by falling in love with somebody else, the soul goes out and becomes that person. It is your own soul, that person. That is why she or he is my soul mate. It is our own soul. And the whole idea of marriage is that our soul has gone out and become that person, and we want to get our soul back. And it is this mutual relationship where each one gets the soul back. Luke, in Luke's testament, it is by patience that you will secure your souls. So when we become related to the internal, and through that we relate to the external, then we are complete people. But if we are relating to the external with the internal totally in darkness, then we are still half people. Infatuation means our soul is possessed by somebody else. This is Bible terminology. So he kills Vrishasur. I'll just finish this, otherwise we don't want to take this to tomorrow. So, hey Rishabh, you saved us from the poisoning of the Yamuna waters. You killed the demon who came in the shape of a python. You saved us from the rain and lightning of Indra. You saved us from the cyclone Trunavar. You killed the sexual passion, the bull Vrushasur and Vyomasur, the son of Danav. One day the boys were playing games, and the game was that they were divided into two parts. One would become goats and the other would become thieves who would steal the goats and put them in a cave. And one of the asurs took the shape of one of the boys, took the form of one of the boys, and one by one captured all these gopas and put them in a cave. Krishna sprang on him, killed him and released all the boys. Vyomasur. Vyoma means sky, but Vyoma also means celestial. Influences which come from outer space. Influences which come from outer space. Some of these influences could be very negative. Supposing we just say that we have we have a whole belt of asteroids. Whole belt of asteroids. That is, between Mars and Jupiter there should be one planet, but there is no planet. How are the planets calculated? Which law? Which law calculates the planets? Bodhi's law. Bodhi's law. And according to Bodhi's law, there is one space missing in our solar system, and that is the asteroid belt, which may have been a planet once and broke down. And that is the only way, because of Bodhi's law, we have to say that there was a planet there. And there are all these small pieces, and they have a definite, influence on our lives. Right? They have an influence on crime. They have an influence on the cycles of the markets. They have an influence on war. So a lot of negative celestial influences are coming through this one belt of asteroids, which usually astrologers do not calculate because of the pieces. It doesn't have so much of an effect on a human being as it has on life in general. And we must try to see these influences, how we are getting influenced by these things. When a war comes, there is a general influence of hypnosis everywhere, and to be free of the crowd. Supposing we are watching a cricket match, are we part of the crowd or are we individual? Are we part of the crowd? What happens in crowd psychology? The negativity in crowd psychology. Supposing I feel aggressiveness towards him, right? But supposing in this room all of us feel aggressiveness towards him, then will my aggressiveness get multiplied? Each one feels everyone else's. Each one feels everyone else's. So what do I have to be aware of when I am watching a cricket match? Or any match for that matter? What do I have to be aware of? Supposing my one favorite batsman got out. What do I have to be aware of? The reaction. Because at that time, the sanskar which I am building within me is not it does not have the intensity only of my personal reaction. There are so many people watching the match on TV everywhere else, and I have And by watching this match, I have become a part of that whole collective group. I am not an individual person at that time. So the minute my favorite batsman or somebody has got out and I get this feeling, I have to become aware at that time. Otherwise the intensity of that feeling goes into my subconscious mind. That is crime. Because it is not going with my singular intensity, it is going by everybody else. I am a part of everybody else who is watching the match. And that which is going in, that aggressiveness, that inner feeling of frustration which is going in, is collectively going in. That is why I always tell people that when you are watching the match, please put on the music and breathe with the so that you don't allow this to happen. Otherwise we become a victim of the crowd. The victim of the crowd. We are just a machine, a part of the machine called crowd.
Mass hysteria.
What?
What? Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Can it work the other way around?
Huh?
Like create a positive influence?
No, it doesn't create positive. There's no way. You go to a big bhajan mandali and one person is crying and one person is doing the same thing. It makes no difference at all. Makes no difference at all. And there it becomes even worse because we think we are doing something good. We are singing praises to the God. Only our illusory God, nothing. Nothing has changed in fact. Nothing changes. We become a part of the crowd.
Does that happen in meditation as well, when you're in a big group meditating?
Yes, that is where it happens positively. It happens positively. There's this very famous story of Ajatashatru, who was a great king, and he came to kill Buddha, and somebody told him that Buddha is in this grove over there. Go and kill him. And he came with his sword to kill Buddha. And he's telling this person, are you sure Buddha is there? I can't hear anything. I can't hear anything. But he goes in and he sees there are 10,000 bhikshus meditating over there. And he felt as if no one was there. It was totally empty. And he takes this sword to go to kill Buddha, and the sword falls out of his hands, and he sits down and he takes diksha from Buddha. So it can happen positively also. But there is not a crowd there. There are 10,000 individuals over there. There are 10,000 individuals over there who have conquered their inner ego. They conquered the inner aggressiveness. And that is why they are one. They are not one by hypnosis. In the crowd they are one by hypnosis. It's the opposite end of the stick. Right? It happened. Right? I think we'll stop over here. We got through this sloka 2 days. And tomorrow we'll take another one. Thank you. Good night. Jai Shri Krishna.